Yes, sir.
My name is Bob Goodell, and I've retired.
Here, Bob, why don't you grab Michael, although you got a good, strong voice.
I have one question for you regarding interest rates. Federal government's current policy seems to be to keep interest rates at a historical low level. The impact this has on retired seniors is the loss of income they receive on interest on CDs and IRAs. When do you see this policy changing so rates can get back to more normal levels?
Well, first of all, I just want to make clear the administration doesn't make decisions on interest rates. The Federal Reserve makes decisions on interest rates. And so they really are an independent agency. I have to be very careful when I have a conversation with Ben Bernanke, the head of the Federal Reserve. I can talk generally about the economy, but I can't tell him lower or jack up interest rates. So I want to make that clear. But your general point, I think, is an important one. Interest rates are at a historic low because that was part of the way to avoid us tipping into a depression. By keeping interest rates very low, that meant that businesses that had seen consumer demand really shrink were still able to service their debt and to keep their doors open. And so it was the right thing to do to keep interest rates low. You are absolutely right that that does have an adverse impact on savers, and particularly seniors on fixed incomes, because they're not getting as much of a return on their savings. The flip side of it is, though, is that inflation is also at a historic low. And so in terms of actual purchasing power, inflation is still low enough that savers are not losing a whole lot of money. They're just not seeing the compounded interest expand their nest egg like it once did. I think that you will see a return to higher, more normal interest rates when the economy gets stronger. You naturally start seeing more inflation than you're currently seeing. And when that happens, that will, I think, change the position of the Federal Reserve Bank. But as I said, this is not. This is one of those areas. The president's got a lot of power, a lot of juice. This is not one area where he's got juice.
What about the over 70.5 mandatory deduction, or you have to take from your savings, IRA savings? Last year you changed it. We didn't have to do it.
Yeah, we did that temporarily as part of an effort because we understood that people were really going through a tough time and might have to dip into savings. We wanted to make sure they weren't penalized for it.
But we're still doing that.
Yeah, well, things don't always get through Congress the way you want them.
Okay.
But we're going to be working on this. We're going to have to examine a lot of these issues moving forward as part of how we think about simplifying the tax code, making it fairer, and also making sure that folks on fixed incomes aren't harmed in this environment where it's harder and harder to save for retirement. Thank you for the question.